I made some Indian Dal yesterday. Slowly, I'm settling down into cooking and everything else. Slowly settling down into this house as well, I guess, after my very big move from New Delhi. And I think I'm slightly liking things around here now. I love these floor to ceiling windows. All the light that they let in, especially in the late afternoons because it's facing west. I think that's just so good and so refreshing. And I try to keep these windows open usually because I love the fresh air. And let's actually get some more fresh air. One of the bad things about those floor to ceiling windows is that people get all the air and all the light while they're inside their houses. So you rarely see many people around here. In fact, the only couple of instances when I see people around here is either when they're out for a smoke, because of course you cannot smoke inside the house, or if they're out dog walking because the dog needs to poop. I think today though we should hopefully get more people out here, because as I settle down into this house, I would also witness one of the first parties of this apartment complex. I think this is called End of Summer Party. And End of Summer, interestingly, also takes us to one of my most favorite seasons of the year, autumn or fall. There's something about the crispness of the air in that season, and I think I feel that a little bit already because we are getting there. We are close to autumn. But yeah, we'll bid a nice farewell with this party. This is still my neighborhood. In fact, this is the very block or the intersection where I live. This is the intersection of the 7th Street and the E Street in Washington DC. I love how bright and blue and sunny it is, and this is often the direction in which I go if I need to get my grocery as well. And this is the direction I go if I need to catch the train to New York. This is the E Street, and the direction we are facing is the direction of the Union Station. And I plan to walk all the way to the Union Station and walk kind of fast, as you can see. Often early in the morning I'm actually taking the same route or route, as the Americans like to call it, when I'm in a rush to catch the train. It's actually quite cloudy now. Of course, this is a little different part of the day than where we started the video, and I'm trying to show you the Union Station, the outside of the station, because walking to this station and walking really quickly to this station has become very central to my time here in Washington DC. Most of my weekends I rush to the Union Station and I catch the train or I catch the bus to New York. I just love how good this feels. Of course, earlier I was hesitant because I'm living here on my own and I had not met any one of these people. But looks like they're nice people. And that window on the right is my window. This is the end of summer and it signifies the start of something beautiful, which is autumn. And I think I've mentioned this before. Autumn has to be most favorite season of the year. There's something about that little bit cold in the air that makes you want to go on long walks and look at all those leaves that have fallen down. Good morning. It's a somewhat cold morning. I don't know if you're feeling it too. Maybe you're seeing it in that sunrise that we are witnessing right now. You're seeing the slight cold in the air, I would imagine. I love how that smoke is rising to the left of our view. This, of course, is a Washington DC morning at the rooftop of my building. Some time actually passed since I last spoke with you and since you saw the last shot. While this is Washington DC, this is not the same building where we were partying last we spoke. Wow. That's of course the Capitol building with the sunrise happening in its background. Iconic DC. So as time passed by, I had to vacate my previous accommodation and find this new one. Of course, it's getting colder and it's tricky to be moving when it's really cold, but I was able to move just in time when it was fall, my favorite season. And this building that I've moved to, it has this beautiful rooftop, which means I can catch sunrises. For some reason, a few years ago my obsession with sunrises, and I feel whenever I can wake up and catch a sunrise, it kickstarts my day with the right tone and with the right kind of energy. I love how most of the world, you realize, has not really woken up, but you have whenever you watch the sunrise. And I think that, and a combination of a few other things, such as the fact that waking up early gives me so much time in my day and helps me have a calming start to my morning, all of it actually is the reason why I love sunrises so much. And yeah, here we are catching a Washington DC sunrise. This is that rooftop where you saw the sunrise. We saw the sunrise earlier in the video. And I think this is one thing about my move that I'm really happy about, that I got this beautiful view from the rooftop. Because as I mentioned, the earlier building, the previous one where I lived, while it was pretty and I loved the unit, the apartment, and I think I miss it, but still this view, in a way, I think compensates for it. Especially when I get to see the sunrises and the sunsets. Here's another one, another Washington DC sunrise. And I think, as I mentioned before, I'm somewhat obsessed with sunrises. I feel whenever I catch a sunrise, it's a beautiful day for me. We've talked about that building in the background, which is the Capitol building. The one in the foreground, which is that beautiful kind of red. This is also a very significant building. It's called the National Building Museum. And my new place is actually right next to the National Building Museum. So whenever I'm up here, I get these very pretty views of this part of Washington DC. The buildings that you see next to the National Building Museum, these are like Washington DC courts in a way, or at least the offices of those courts. In fact, the metro station that we have right next to those buildings, it's called Judiciary Square. So that's the rough neighborhood of Washington DC that I'm residing in. And it's the same neighborhood, like it's still Penn Quarter. That's where my previous building was. And I love the area so much that I chose to be in the very same area within Washington DC, the capital of United States of America. And interestingly, this was not the first capital. The capital existed in New York and it existed in Philly as well before moving right here. We saw a few sunrises from this rooftop, so it's only fair that we look the other way as well. And this is us looking west, which means, of course, what you're looking at is a sunset. And this somewhat curved building that you see in front, I think you'll figure out what it is because it's written right there. This is the Capital One Arena. This is where a lot of concerts and sports games happen. And this is also where Donald Trump was inaugurated. I think he had his after party of sorts here within the Capital One Arena. So yeah, I have the Capital One Arena on one side, and if you remember the video from a few minutes back, I've got the National Building Museum on the other. Here we are, still looking at that sunset and looking at now the darker and more contrasting colors of this evening. And I think Washington DC is sort of home now. Let's see how long it remains home for me.